scene, Esperanza has no one to sit with at lunch, so she goes to eat in the closet. When she gets there, an old man takes advantage of her. This scene is significant to the story because this is one of the first times that Esperanza experiences having to grow up, and you cannot let people walk all over you.
Hello there, fella. What you doing here?
Well, today's my first day of work, and I really don't have anybody to sit with, so...
Oh, you can sit in here every day with me if you want. I sit in here every day for lunch.
Oh, well, what are you eating?
Oh, well, I'm eating me some pie crust and my pork sausage with some mayonnaise and baking soda with yogurt. Oh, and my Coke. What about you?
Baking soda?
Oh, sure is. I love me some baking soda. It's good for the soul. Oh, guess what today is?
What?
Well, it's my birthday.
Oh, well, happy birthday.
Oh, thanks. The best gift I could ever receive would be a kiss on the cheek from you.
Oh, well, it is your birthday, and I guess you were nice to me.
Yep.
All right.
She never did kiss that old man's cheek, but what she did receive, she would never forget. Then old man took advantage of her, and this was the start of Esperanza growing up.
In this scene, Sally takes Esperanza to a rundown garden that the kids of the neighborhood have taken over as their little getaway. Some boys take Sally's keys but won't give them back to her unless she kisses each of them. This makes Esperanza mad, so she tries to stop the boys, but it doesn't work. This is significant to the book because it shows that Esperanza cares about people, but she's going to have to learn that even though some people need help, they don't realize it. So Esperanza learns that if somebody needs help but won't take it, then they're going to have to figure a way to get out of the bad situation by themselves.
Hey, Sally, let's go play with those boys over there.
Psh, what do you think I am? 3? You just gotta sit back, relax, and let them come to you. Make sure you talk to them, though.
Oh.
Hey, you little rat. Get back here and give me my keys.
Hey! Hey! That's not fair! Give them back!
Not unless you kiss me.
Stop it! Excuse me, ma'am, but your son took my friend's keys, and he won't get them back unless he kisses her, and it's just gross.
It's okay. I think that the boys and your friend Sally are both mature enough to handle this situation by themselves.
Just stop it! Give her the keys back now!
Go away. You're annoying. Just leave us alone.
The main character in The House on Mango Street is Esperanza, and she's also the protagonist of the story.
What?
Yeah. And the person that I would think would play her in a movie would be Demi Lovato, because they're both Latino and they both have dark hair. And that's really all the description we really get about her. And Esperanza has some quotes from the story. One of them on page 10 says, "In English, my name means hope. In Spanish, it means too many letters. It means sadness, and it means waiting." And to decipher this a little bit for you guys, when she says hope, well, it really does mean hope, but I think that they use that because she's hoping for a new home. And she's sad and she's waiting because all she wants is just that new home, and that's what she's been waiting for her whole life. And her shyness and her loneliness makes it hard for her to make friends. She ends up making friends with people like Rachel and Lucy, but not until a little while into the story. And all she ever thinks about is how she wants a house of her own. And she never loses hope. And her curiosity helps her when it comes to boys, which we find out a little later in the story with Sally. Esperanza is very hopeful. She's shy, curious, and a lonely person. But she hasn't matured much during her childhood, and here are some examples about that. One of them is when she's a childish person so much that her brother doesn't even want to talk to her outside of his house, or their house. And so, I mean, that's pretty normal, but that's still childish. And Marin, which is a close neighbor, has to teach her about boys. I mean, she should know a little bit about boys. And when she gets her first job, she's a nervous wreck, and she didn't want to know any of the adults. She didn't know any of the adults, and so she has to end up eating in a closet with an old man, and you'll find a little more about what happens to that in a few scenes. So that's Esperanza.
Ninny is probably the third most important character in the story, and Ninny is Esperanza's little sister, and Esperanza pretty much has to take full responsibility over Ninny outside of the house. And she's a very sweet and innocent kind of a girl, and she likes to look at the positive side of things. She's the opposite of Esperanza because she's not wishing that she had more like a bigger house and that she didn't have to live on Mango Street. She looks at the brighter side of things by like naming the clouds after people in the neighborhood to describe them. Esperanza describes Ninny as saying, "Ninny's hair is slippery, slides out of your hand, and Ninny and I don't look like sisters, not right away anyway. Ninny, who thinks she is smart and talks to any old man, asks a lot of questions." Ninny makes Mango Street seem like it's its own little planet, like I said, by naming the clouds after people in the neighborhood. And Ninny really doesn't care about what anybody thinks about her, therefore she's not afraid to embarrass herself. And I chose Madison de la Garza as Ninny because she is Demi Lovato's little sister in real life. And so I thought it would be good to choose someone to be Esperanza's little sister.
Esperanza becomes really good friends with Sally when she moves to Mango Street because Sally knows a lot about boys because she's really beautiful and she's really devious. And since she's so beautiful, she gets into a lot of trouble. And the reason that she knows a lot about guys is because she's abused at home, and so it just kind of lets her take her mind off of things that go on at home. I think that Rachel McAdams' character Regina would be really good to play Sally if Outside Mango Street were a movie because she's really blonde and she knows a lot about guys, she likes them a lot. A couple quotes that explain Sally are, "Sally is the girl with eyes like Egypt and nylons the color of smoke," on page 81. "Her father says to be this beautiful is trouble," and that's probably true, it's also on page 81. And Sally tries to get Esperanza to mature too quickly in life, which Esperanza needs to mature, but not too much. And while they're at the carnival, since she's with Sally, Esperanza ends up getting into a lot of trouble with guys because Sally knows too much about them and tries to persuade her to do bad things with them. And because of these events, Sally's actually starting to hurt Esperanza instead of help her mature too much in life. So that's pretty much Sally. The theme of The House on Mango Street is "With age comes maturity."
And an example of this is that Esperanza says on page 42 that she's a red balloon tied to an anchor. And this quote shows that Esperanza's childhood is stuck and she doesn't know how to mature anymore.
Another few examples that shows this theme is that when Esperanza is at her first job, she doesn't know how to handle like all the stress and the adults and the things that go on there. That's why she eats in the closet. And in the garden, she has to learn that she is growing up and that Sally doesn't need help with the boys and Sally already knows how to handle it herself. And then also, when her grandpa dies, she sees her dad crying for the first time, and that really changes her aspect on life because she thinks about what it would be like if her own father died and she doesn't know how she would be, like how she would react to that. So that's the thing.